Hey guys, it's Jan, Not a Real Farm, Saturday morning, guys, and we are still continuing planting. And now you can see everything's starting to green up nicely. One of the cool things I wanted to show you is we actually incorporated an Inkbird into our greenhouse to control our fans. So I thought I'd give you a quick tour of that so you can see how it works. And then essentially I can control the temperature that the fans come on inside the greenhouse from the Inkbird, which is great because if you're not around and all of a sudden you get your greenhouse up to a temperature of 80 degrees, you can make sure that your fans are on even if you're not around. So let me show you. So essentially the Inkbird is connected actually into my panel here that controls my fans, and it's on relay switches. And so what happens is as soon as I set the temperature of when I want the fans to come on, it just automatically happens. And thank you to my husband for installing relays to help me with that, because what was happening is I was actually coming in all the time and doing the fans manually. But if you have to do that, it actually doesn't allow you to sort of free up your time to do other things. And yes, you can leave your fans on all day, but let's say perhaps it gets chilly at night and you need to turn them off. You have to come back out and manually turn them off. So the Inkbird has kind of saved us from that. So I'm just going to put some picture-in-picture up so you can see what this does. In the next picture, if you take a look, I'm changing that temperature for the fans to come on at 25 degrees. And in the next photo, you'll see where I hit complete. And then essentially what it'll do is it'll show you the cooling. It'll turn blue your whole screen and show you that your fans are on. So even if you're, let's say, in the house and you want to see if your fans are even on, you're not sure, you just got to take a look at the color on your phone. If it's blue, it means it's cooling. And if it turns sort of a yellow-orange, it means that it's heating. It means your fans are off. And now if you take a look at the picture, you can see now that I've set the bottom temperature to reflect 25. And the current temperature, I think, reads about 28.3 in the picture. And so that is going to basically cool it down until 25. And if it stays at 25 all day, that's great. The plants are happy. But what happens is once it reaches its temperature, it doesn't have to stay on. So if it gets cooler than 25, the fans will turn off. So it's kind of a neat way to sort of monitor your fans without going crazy and having to do it manually. So I wanted to show you guys that we've installed it. It's working great. It's at 25, so my fans have turned on. And so very neat feature, and let's say sanity saver for your fans. So that's great. We're going to be doing the same thing with the heating. So we're going to be putting a rad in here too. So stay tuned for that. So I thought I would just walk you through this, guys. Take a look at our plants. So now we've got some butternut squash that is happy. The plants seem to be okay with being in the buckets. These are our yellow zucchinis. So we've got some male flowers here that have opened up. The females here. We've got some more male flowers here. So the yellow zucchinis are doing really, really, really good. And if you take a look, you can see that we've got lots of fruit that's also coming up as well. So hopefully everybody likes zucchini pickles. So we'll see what happens. We've got our beans that are doing fantastic. As a matter of fact, a few of them are flowering up there. So we've got a few flowers. And then the beans in here will peter out really quick because it gets hot and the beans don't necessarily like it in the greenhouse. So we usually get about 1 or 2 crops from the beans in here, and then we clear them out and plant something else. Horseradish as usual, guys. The horseradish, I haven't even watered this on purpose to see if it would still grow, and it just grows like a weed. So we had many of you actually sending requests that when you bought our horseradish, if we could also send some of the leaves, some of the newer leaves, so that you could use that in your ferments. That's also an option later on when we have our horseradish up for sale. If you want us to wrap the horseradish root actually in leaves and mail them to you, we can if you want to use that. All right. And of course we have our roses, but our roses have now started to produce blooms. So we're just kind of on the cusp of blooms opening. So You can see they've got the little buds here, the little flower buds. So it's not going to be long now before we have roses, so right in time for birthday celebrations. Some more roses. Ooh, we've got some nice ones here. These ones bloom a lot. You get a lot of roses on this one plant. They're called Up and Away. And I chopped these really good. There was a lot of extra foliage on them that really needed to come down. But so far, so good. Our asparagus. We have one more piece of asparagus in here we can cut. And then the asparagus that we did take off is now going to seed. So in this one we had about, for this particular piece, we had about 3 or 4 pieces of asparagus, and then we've got one additional, let me move this out of the way, one additional one coming up here. So we don't get a lot of asparagus in the greenhouse, and that's okay because asparagus really doesn't like heat. But we'll take the 3 or 4 sprigs that come up. But I am getting seeds from this, which is nice. So when it actually goes to seed, we're able to collect the asparagus seed, which is an heirloom, and then we can grow that from the seed itself. So that's kind of cool. All right, we're going backwards here. So this is a newer grapevine. This one's only 2 years old, but it's got its little flower buds here. And then my gooseberries are doing great. Hopefully it's got so many thorns. As you can see, it's got flowers on it, so we'll be getting some gooseberries from the plant here. This is an edible hibiscus. So essentially, once it blooms, you actually take the seed pod from it and you eat it. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and showing you how we do that. Everything in the pots here on the floor that I have are lilacs. So we're going to be planting lilacs out in the yard this year. One of them is more of a red lilac as a hybrid, and then the other one is just your standard common lilac. So we'll be doing that. And here's my grapevine. So this grapevine, guys, we're going on 4 years, but you saw in one of the very first videos how much I had to actually cut the vines down. And just look at it, it's doing awesome. All right, everybody's seen my infamous patch of red walking onions. So these guys have really filled in, and it's not going to be long, once I just leave them and not harvest anything from them, that they're going to be sending out their little bulbs, and then we can harvest that and send some out to you in the mail. Just a word that there's probably going to be a mail strike here, so if you do order seed and we happen to be in the middle of a mail strike, there's not really much we can do about that. But that's just kind of a warning to let everybody know. This is my crabapple tree, and he's happy in here, but I do have to weed around him. All right, let's pop on over to all of the other plants we've got. The fans have just shut off. Perfect. Okay, so this is a gourmet bell sweet pepper that I'm growing, but it's actually a yellow bell pepper, so I'm excited about that. These were all saved seeds that I saved from last year, so hopefully they're going to turn out and we can save those and save the seeds and then share them. We've got lots of vegetables in here, guys. Haven't watered yet this morning on purpose just so I could show you before all the plants were wet, but the tomatoes are doing amazing. The bean back there, the Nun's Belly Button bean, I don't even know what it looks like yet, so I'm really curious to see. I have a couple of bay leaf plants that have gone into shock. And a lot of the plants that you're seeing along here are going to be planted in and around the garden and around the greenhouse. Here are my green bell peppers. Look at that. These guys are monsters, and I think I see some buds in there. Yeah, we've got 3 buds so far. And then, of course, we've got my Midnight Roma, which was really popular in the store last year, so we're growing some more. Dragon's Tongue, Mizuna, more purple cauliflower. We've got some Chilean peppers that are super happy with the heat. These Chilean peppers are sort of a rarity, so we're going to be saving the seed as much as we can from them and actually sharing them with you. Keep in mind, though, that when I do send them to you, they take 150 days before they actually produce a fruit. So you have to kind of start them really early, like January, and then move them on outside. I've starting my seeds in here because it's nice and warm. Christmas lima beans are coming up. We've got clover, the tomatoes in the back. Some of them went into so much shock that I'm going to start replacing a couple of them, but other than that, everything's fine. We've got callaloo. If you've never had callaloo, it's very, very good. It's another great green that you can actually either saute or eat raw. These are all our red pimentos. Oh, here comes the fans. See how that's so nice, how that just does everything by itself and I don't have to worry about it. Purple broccoli, more tomatoes in the back, and then we've got hot peppers here. And then this, you see how slow my eggplant is growing, guys? This is actually a Black Beauty eggplant, and for whatever reason, I just could not get my eggplant started last year. So this year I started the eggplant ultra early, and I'm thinking it's gonna work. We're gonna get eggplant finally. Eggplant is very fussy. Here's our Notapinos. So some of you have expressed that you've grown the Notapinos, and some were successful with growing them and some weren't. These are the same seeds that I'm sending out to you guys, so I just wanted to show you that the Notapino seed is very viable. As a matter of fact, we ended up planting too much Notapinos. And for those of you who haven't joined us earlier, who don't know what a Notapino is essentially a jalapeno, but with no heat. That's why we call it a Notapino. Purple broccoli is doing awesome. We've got more peppers in here. The okra, I've actually started again from seed in some of these spots just because it went into shock and it didn't like being transplanted. Take a look at the hops, guys. So my hope is to be able to grow enough hops to share those in the store as well for those of you that like to ferment or make your own drinks. And we have another one here. Purple cauliflower, more tomatoes. I've got to replace a couple of those. More peppers. You can see what happens with the okra when it goes into shock. It kind of just leaves you with these one leaves. I left it in, I just want to see what it does. And then over in the corner here, I hardly ever get to this corner, but this is a cherry bush. And for some reason it likes it in this corner, and I've got enough room to let the tree grow to actually what height it should be. So it's not going to grow any taller than about 12 feet. So I'm going to grow it here and see if it does okay. And then of course we got asparagus beans in the corner. I'm still cleaning up the blackberry bed, but we have new blackberry shoots, coming out there. Over here as well. And so we will probably get a fall crop out of these blackberries this year, which is okay. Right in time for jam season. So we were out in the raised beds yesterday working on them. And so I've raked, weeded, blood, sweat, and tears into this. This was painful. A lot of this had a lot of sort of grass that didn't want to come out. So I did a lot of this by hand. So now I basically planted carrots in here. And then we've planted leeks. And in this corner here, we've planted beets. So we have all that going. So that's good. That's one bed down. And if we turn around, you can see that I've started cleaning this out too. And we've planted spinach, lettuce, radishes. And then of course, with my bean video, you guys saw that the provider beans have all basically been tossed in here to give us a nice little crop. Still getting to the Haskap bed. I cleaned out the asparagus bed. Of course, the asparagus is just starting to come up out here, so that's good. We're gonna have a lot of asparagus this year, and I haven't even gotten to the back greenhouse yet, but the asparagus is just starting to come up. And I apologize for the sun, but it's early in the morning, so the sun's kind of behind me, so I'm casting a shadow. And these are our raspberries, so raspberries have actually started throwing suckers. You can see that there. Oops. And if I can grab this without grabbing a thorn, you can see that the leaves, whoops, have already started on the raspberries. I haven't planted them yet, but I got a purple raspberry, so I think that's going to be amazing to have purple jam. I don't know what it is, but I like my foods colorful, so we're going to have some red jam for the raspberries, and then we're going to have some purple jam, which is kind of cool. And then I gave my garlic some water yesterday, and they're not quite as dusty, so now you can kind of see that they're coming up. It's beautiful out here today, so we're going to get into the 70s today, which is perfect. And I'll walk you on over here. Our red Russian garlic is coming up. And this is our deep purple garlic. I basically planted a lot of garlic because I would like to share it in the store. So we'll probably be taking a look at that this year as well. This is my Mennonite garlic. Hopefully you can see a little bit without my shadow. And then we're still cleaning the bed over there. That's where the corn was last year, and there was some corn in this bed. But there was also some elephant garlic. And elephant garlic is going to be a little tricky. I'm really curious to see if it survived the winter. Elephant garlic, as you know, isn't really necessarily considered a real garlic. So we don't know if it's mated yet. We'll see. And I've ordered a tiller, so we're going to be tilling. The tiller that I have is actually small enough to fit into these little beds. This one is so full of grass. Take a look. Full of grass and a pain in my ass. So we're going to be taking the tiller through this bed, throwing out the grass and the roots, and then we're going to be planting in this one as well. Let's go take a look at the back greenhouse. The back greenhouse is, nothing's been done to it yet this year, but we'll see what's coming up. Red walking onions. I'm telling you, you won't be without onions if you plant these. All right, let's get back here. So I haven't even been back here to weed or do anything yet. Nothing has been done back here. So this is my bed of red walking onions. So I got to go in here and just scoop out all of this stuff. Believe it or not, this is a bed of strawberries. And if we look close, you can see the strawberries have already started. So I have to get in here and take all this leaf litter and grass out. This bed is just full of weeds, of course, from last fall after I harvested. So we got to go through this. Weeds, more weeds, but underneath the weeds, strawberries. So we got to start doing that sooner than later. It's going to suffocate the strawberries. And then all of this in here is asparagus. So the asparagus is, you can see how tall the asparagus got actually. So it's all seeded. It all needs to be cut out because the asparagus is going to start growing at any time now underneath here. And I don't see any evidence of it yet, but it'll be there. I actually overplanted asparagus this year, or the last 2 years, I should say. So it's kind of funny. And then this bed also has asparagus on this side. But we also have, here it is. We also have weeds. Did I tell you that? But we also have rhubarb. If you look really closely, you can see the rhubarb starting to come up. Here, let me clear this out. There's the rhubarb. So I've got 2 nice patches of rhubarb in here that are going to be growing. So we really have to get back here and do some work, but you always think that you're going to get more done than what you actually do. And I'm still up at the front garden bed, so I'm going to have to sort of jump back here and take care of the beds that need it first. So it's a lot of work, guys, but you have to love gardening to do this stuff. And here we are back in the greenhouse, guys. So that's it for me today. Thanks very much for joining me. If you have any questions, please pop them below. And I hope you're having a fantastic afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. See you soon.